Hi, I'm Carrie Blazer, mother, shaman, and recently published author of My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain. In my book, I share my raw, unfiltered truth, how I went from a suicide attempt to embracing my shamanic gifts, to experiencing enlightenment several times, and all done by attracting several prominent heroes into my life, two of whom are Justin Waller with his best friend Andrew Tate. So you know I can handle a really smart man. Top 1% man. Two decorated fire academy instructors. And all those men led me back to my childhood hero, who I call my original hero. He is former special agent in charge of the FBI and is currently the head of global security at GoDaddy, and his initials are JC. So I am here to argue that self-love creates heaven on earth. And I want you, and I challenge you to prove me wrong. Yeah, I'm channeling Charlie. In one of his quotes, Mary is the solution. Now I know that he was talking about Mary, Jesus' mother, but I'm interpreting a little bit different because early Christianity, the truth has been hidden, suppressed, and destroyed. And we all need to unearth that. We need to make that darkness conscious. Quote Carl Jung, one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that's what Jesus was doing in the temple. And that's why he got killed. He got killed because he was unearthing all the financial problems and the stealing that was going on in the temple in Jerusalem. And the powers that be didn't like that in Rome. Killed him on the cross, right in front of my soul while I was pregnant. So yeah, we're here. Coming back to make things right. Coming back to prove what the early Christians knew, what Mary Magdalene's soul, what my soul knew 2,000 years ago. But the collective of souls wasn't ready yet. Self-love is the path to heaven. Self-love is the path to spiritual awakening, spiritual enlightenment. Enlightenment's an emotion. Love is an emotion. Enlightenment's a higher vibrating emotion than love, more transformative than love. And I have a master's degree in East Asian religious studies. I've lived in Chinese Buddhist monasteries. So I understand how they teach enlightenment. And it is not an emotion. So I'm coming after the Buddhists too. I'm here to kick ass and take some fucking names because I'm done with the suppression of divine feminine. We're the healers. We are the access point to God, what people call God, Christ consciousness within. Native Americans knew it. And where do I live? Ventura, California. What's here? A mission. The Chumash were brought off Santa Cruz Island 200 years ago, and I'll get into that synchronicity in a minute. But there's a Cherokee proverb that says, a woman's highest calling is to connect a man to his soul so he can unite with source, God. A man's highest calling is to protect a woman so she can walk the earth unharmed. Mary Magdalene was a high priestess who knew Jesus' mother, also Mary, also a high priestess. I'm a shaman, same thing. We connect the physical to the spiritual, which is what women are designed for, which is why we have a far more robust nervous system than men do, so that we can handle the charge of life force energy, and I'll equate that with God. God is life force energy, creation. Creation is feminine, but Christianity ascribes it to a masculine God. We wonder where the patriarchy comes from? I mean, we go to a man for forgiveness. Go to Jesus for forgiveness. 3 days ago, I just learned this 2 days ago, was the exaltation of the Holy Cross in Christianity. What is that? Is in the 4th century when they found what they thought was the cross, which is the cross is the only ladder to heaven. Why are you using an external prop to solve an internal problem? The only way to heaven, to enlightenment, is through the heart, the soul. So this bullshit that we have to go to a church is the patriarchy, is the suppression of feminine value, of feminine creation. A masculine God did creation, the feminine, and orchestration, the masculine, and we wonder what the problem is? Now, Christianity does a lot of good things too, but let's unearth what we need to unearth to solve the mental health crisis across the world. Crisis across the world. Evidenced on so many friggin' fronts, I'm not even going to go into it. Like, wow, so much evidence of the mental health crisis globally. No boundaries. Let everybody in. We can help everybody. How is that grounded in reality? If we can't teach our own children how to read and write, why in the world, how in the world are we prepared realistically to help immigrant children learn to read and write? We're not. We're selfish. We let them in for the censorship, not censorship, when they count the population. I can't come out of my mouth. Okay, when they count the population for political gain. So we're taking advantage of immigrant children who don't have a home for American political gain, and you call that healthy? That's not self-love. That's selfishness on fucking high. You know, someone told me, oh, you have a lack mentality that you think we can't do that. What do you mean I have a lack? Well, we have billionaires. I mean, we do not have the systems in place, and those billionaires, that's their money. We haven't agreed to it. How are you in control of someone else's money? I mean, that's selfishness right there. You know, and not acknowledging that our own children, if we can't take care of our own children, how are we, can we be responsible for anybody else's? And this is happening left, right, and center, teaching 18-year-olds they know more than, 60-year-olds. This is how it happens at Oxford College. This dumbass little freshman gets up there, asks a stupid, uninformed question of Jordan Peterson and gets clapped at as if Jordan Peterson calls out how ridiculous the question is. But we're clapping for ignorance when we have academics right in front of us. This is communism. This is what it is. I mean, this is how communism destroys the family. I've lived in China. I fucking know. I've read that history. I have a master's degree. I used to live in the Chinese library. Loved it, sitting in the dictionary room. Like, loved it. I'm a nerd. So when we don't love ourselves, like I didn't love myself, I was isolated and I hated everybody and I argued all the time. So I know how I act when I don't love myself. And I know the gnarly spew that comes out of me because it's in my heart. When I don't love myself and I pour from my heart onto other people, I pour hate. But when I love, like now, when I go outside, I'm nice and I'm confident and I'm sweet and I'm energetic and, I'm kind and I have patience and there's no arguing. So I created my own heaven on earth by learning how to transform my emotional wounds into personal wisdom. Like there's a saying, and you find in a lot of spirituality groups, even the box of emotional darkness he left me with was a gift. And I go over that in my book too. Like the process of learning how to transform my emotional wounds into personal wisdom is the gift that JC left me with. Why? He's the masculine, I'm the feminine. The masculine brings his emotional pain to the feminine for her to process. He brought it. I needed 40 years. So from the perspective of how do masculine and feminine souls interact, how do they heal, he didn't do anything wrong. Because how much pain was he in his household that he brought me that much pain? And I haven't had that conversation yet because last December, I finally faced my fear of being raped. And then 9 months later, about 2 weeks ago, I was finally able to report to the police. 9 months pregnancy. It's my soul showing me myself yet again. When did was I guided to do a background check and find out where his house really was? Because I didn't remember. So from last November to Memorial Day this year, I didn't look him up. But on Memorial Day, Memory Day, I was told, look him up. His home was a quarter mile from where my dad lived when I was 12 until I forget when he moved there. I was like in my 20s, but I left home at 18 to go to college. But my dad, sometime I was 11, wouldn't spend the night in my house. And JC's dad was a surgeon. JC's over 6 feet tall, league champion wrestler, really smart, ASB president, you know, super good looking. Yeah, you can look him up. I'm not making an allegation because I don't know for sure. I don't have enough evidence to do anything, and it's way past the statute of limitations. And, you know, sure, when I immediately felt it, maybe I would do something, but within 24 hours, no. I mean, that's not the path forward. If the path forward were that he needed to be in jail to learn his lessons, then he would have been in jail. But when I was processing all this, a song that kept coming through is When a Man Loves a Woman, He's Out in the Rain. Because the only woman that can truly heal him is me. So if I'm holding his pain, and I haven't healed that pain, that, you know, he has given me this pain, and I'm kind of the sort that he can't heal. So I'm out, he's out. You see what I mean? So, you know, it's a time for self-healing now. I mean, in 2012, when the Mayan calendar, that time cycle ended, in 2012, it started, the time of self-healing started. And then in 2020, it brought in the age of Aquarius, self-awakening, self-healing. So our souls have planned for this. And there's a lot of, you know, signs and synchronicities with next week being the rapture, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but when JC and I had our fight culminated to its peak, all the electricity went out in Ventura, California. And that happened because I was protecting my daughters. And I'm not saying he was going to their house or anything like that. This is all, I was talking to his soul. I felt the need to protect my daughters because they can still give birth. I mean, I'm 55, chances of me getting pregnant, or, you know, that'd be a miracle. Miracles happen, but it'd be a miracle. You know, I'm not having sex, so, and that, you know, I know immaculate conception does not happen, you know, and I had visions in the fall of him being in my room here telling me it's time to have sex, it's time to get pregnant. And I saw someone look just like him outside of my house last year in the summer. So there are reasons for me to, you know, it wasn't just pulling out of nowhere. But yeah, I'd like you to prove me wrong that self-love does not create heaven on earth. That is my contention. That is what I have found. And when we all project more love from our hearts, Charlie Kirks don't get assassinated. JC doesn't get abused by his parents so that we can't be together. I don't get abused by my parents, so we can't be together. My children aren't raised in an abusive home because both of their parents hadn't healed yet. So this is how we solve generational trauma, which is the problem that we have, is a lack of self-love and understanding. But now is the time for it. So I hope you join me in loving yourself more. Do a gratitude practice. Just be grateful for your house, for your car, for the people in your life. You know, just start small. Walk barefoot in nature a couple times a week. Start meditating. Start self-reflecting. You know, my book is $2.99 as an ebook. It's only like 180 pages. It's not long. It'll help you, I promise. And then being in my energy, because I experience enlightenment all the time, I will naturally help you transform. And I help people every day because I'm in and out of enlightenment all the time, and I'm connected to all of their souls. So I'm helping everyone align and let go of their wounds, and kind of helping them kind of unearth and make it easier for people to transform their emotional wounds into personal wisdom. So yeah. All right. Take care. And please, you know, like and subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow for another one. But prove me wrong.